are live.
And welcome to the Sound Alive Sports Network. Coming to you from Mountlake Terrace High School, live baseball action between the Mountlake Terrace Hawks and the Shorecrest Highlanders. Second pitch of the game right there, swung on and missed. It's Nick Hendricks at the plate right now. Hendricks, starting pitcher today for Shorecrest. Now looking at a 1-2 count. Hendricks, the starting quarterback also for the Shorecrest football team, a name we've come to know a little bit over the last couple years. Playing leadoff here today for Shorecrest, and strike three, outside corner by Dominic DeMiro. Yes, Dominic DeMiro pitching today, and I'm joined right now by Vince DeMiro, the father of Dominic, and very interesting to see Dominic in there. And first of all, I should point out that strikeout is in fact brought to you by our strikeout sponsor, Icelandic Construction. And Vince, I know you'll be joining us off and on throughout the day here, but I wanted to get you on here in the top of the first inning as number 10, Kyle Wallander, the second baseman today, the senior, swings and misses the first pitch, hits this one right up down to the left field line towards the third baseman, and that is Jaden Yackley, throws across the diamond. Danny Tice making the putout, 2 away. And I better hurry this up because Dominic is making quick work of these guys. The last time out on the mound 10 days ago, no hitter through 4 innings against Meadowdale, came up in the bottom of the 4th inning, got hit by a pitch, and consequently had to go to the emergency room right after the game to get his hand looked at. Not sure if there was a break at the time, and we weren't sure when we were going to see him again. And 10 days later, here he is. I guess I should just ask you right off the bat here how the hand is doing as he bounces that one up to the plate as we're now looking at a 1-1 count to Alex Mason, number 5.
Well, up until that pitch, it was doing really well. But no, it still is bothering him quite a bit. I don't know that he'll I'm not sure if he's in the batting lineup, but you might know. But
he's batting 4th today.
Oh, well, okay then.
Catches another outside corner strike,
and it was
too.
on his throwing hand, and that's why all the concern. But people up there at the ER really took good care of him, and then he's been seeing a doctor pretty regularly since, and it's just really a bad bruise.
Ball is hit to second base. Zane Phillips playing second today, throws it to Tice. 1, 2, 3. A bad bruise or not, he gets out of this inning rather easily. 3 up, 3 down. We head to the bottom of the first. No score. And we are back again here on the Sound Alive Sports Network. The Mountlake Terrace Hawks coming to the plate for the first time here today. Bottom of the first inning. Let's get you their lineup right now. Jaden Yackley playing third base, batting leadoff. Drew Sears playing shortstop, batting second, followed by Jason Shavenko, who's the center fielder today. Dominic DeMiro, your pitcher, batting fourth. Danny Tice, the first baseman, batting fifth. Wyatt Allman, catcher, batting sixth. Michael Hunt in the number 7 spot. He's playing right field. Zane Phillips batting 8th and playing second base. And Elliot Nebel batting 9th and playing left field. Jaden Yackley taking the first pitch wide and outside, fouls the second one off. 1-1 count against Nick Hendricks. Joined now by the senior, TK Johnson. TK, how are you?
Good, how about you?
Doing good. Mountlake Terrace team that is 8-9 overall on the season, 7-7 in conference play. Winners of 4 of their last 5, however, starting to catch fire at just the right time, and not a moment too soon. They are now in a 3-way battle for second place with Glacier Peak and Meadowdale, and we'll be talking about that a little bit throughout the game and what exactly that means. As Hendricks fires the next pitch in there, outside again, ball 3-1. Essentially, all of these teams are going to be playing their first round of district action next Saturday. Everybody's playing at 2 o'clock. The team that finishes in second place is going to get a home game. If you finish in third or fourth place, you're more than likely going to either Stanwood or Marysville-Pilchuck. As Yackley lines that one right down towards third base. Thrown across the diamond, and safe is Yackley as the ball gets away from the first baseman, and he's heading towards second base. In there uncontested. That was Hansen who was trying to make the nice play over at third base. He was deep in the hole, and it was right down the line. Tough throw to make as he got the ball over to Mason on a hop, and it got away from Mason, and Yackley very heads up. We'll give him an infield single and an error, and he heads down to second base. So Mountlake Terrace with a runner on early. And this brings up number 5, Drew Sears. Sears only a sophomore this year.
Yeah.
One 1-0 count. Inside corner, strike one. You've had a chance to watch Sears a little bit. He's a pretty special player for a sophomore, isn't he?
Yeah. I had the pleasure of writing an article about him. He was verbally committed to Oregon State as a sophomore, which is pretty early.
Yeah, Oregon State, one of the powerhouses in not only the Pac-12 but in the country. Back-to-back national championships a few years ago, and right now currently leading the Pac-12 in the standings. Trailed very closely by the University of Washington. Sears fouling that one off. 1-2 is the count. Mentioned Sears, only a sophomore, but an experienced player already at that as he started his freshman year. Currently leads the team, or actually is the second in the team in stolen bases. He's got 5 on the year. Fouls that one off. The count is still 1-2. Probably doesn't have the batting average he was hoping for this year. He's only batting .222 right now. He's at 12 for 54 on the year. Has a couple of doubles. He's done some things nicely, but again, in a little bit of a hitting slump. He did this last year, too, a little bit, though. He didn't start off the year real strong and then got hot at the end. And as soon as we say that, he singles right up the middle there into center field.
Jaden's coming in.
Jaden actually pulls up there as the center fielder. That was Block out there, bobbled the ball briefly, and unfortunately, Andrew Waters, the manager, who's the third base coach, I don't think realized that Block had not come up with that ball cleanly, and he held Yackley up at third. Runners at the corners with nobody out as Sears gets the single.
Here comes Shavanko up.
Number 2, Jason Shavanko coming to the plate, the junior. Shavanko, one of the starting pitchers here in this Mountlake Terrace rotation. Not pitching today, playing center field, but he's had himself one heck of a year.
Yeah.
Hendricks looks inside. Shavanko swings at it. Right out to the right fielder, catches it. Tagging up on the play is Yackley, the throw to the plate.
And
up the line and not in time. He is safe. Yackley comes in to score, and on the play, Sears goes down to second. 1-0 Hawks.
I'd say Jaden's had a pretty good year.
Yeah, so far so good. Jaden's had a very good year. Really his first year as a regular starter on this team.
Mm-hmm. Here comes DeMiro.
Dominic DeMiro up. Batting in that 4 spot, as we were talking about earlier. I shouldn't say the first time he's had action here in the last 10 days. He did play first base on Wednesday, but did not bat. This is the first time he swung a bat since 10 days ago right here against Meadowdale when he caught an inside pitch off of his hand. a game in which he had a no-hitter going through 4 innings of play and had struck out 6 and was looking very good in the process. A game that the Hawks did end up prevailing and winning 3-2. And it's good to see number 3 back up there at the plate as he's looking at an 0-1 count and now calls timeout. So Shavenko doing exactly what you want him to do. And DeMiro hits that one into left field. It's going to drop right in front of the left fielder and bounces right on by him. Sears coming around third to score. Easily standing up with a double at second base is Dominic DeMiro. 2-0 Hawks.
There's another one of his doubles. He's had a lot of those. 11?
11 doubles on the year for DeMiro. I've not checked lately. At one point in time, I know he was leading all of the Wesco and the Northwest Conference area in doubles. And Vince DeMiro shaking his head, yes, he's still leading that category. And timeout is called as DeMiro exchanging gloves there over with his first base coach. So 2 in, 1 on, and only 1 out so far here. First inning.
24 coming in for him.
24, that's Lorraine, the freshman, as a courtesy runner. So, again, high school baseball, that does not mean that he's coming out for the game. Lorraine getting a nice lead over there on second base. Pickoff move as Hendricks turns around. Sliding back in is Lorraine. 0-0 count. Hendricks pitches. That's Tice. The lines went into right center field. It's going to go all the way to the fence. Tice still running, hitting to second base. Here comes Lorraine in to score. Tice standing up at second with another RBI double. Hawks 3, Scots 0.
I tell you, Danny's been hitting that ball really well lately, and just seeing the ball so well, and it carries so well too. The way he hits it, he tends to hit that in-between shot. Rarely gets it popped up deep like that. So good for him.
Yeah, another player who got off to a little bit of a slow start this year, right? And the bat kind of coming alive late here. And as we mentioned, if there's a time to get hot, it's at the end of the season when the games count. As number 4, Wyatt Allman now getting his first at-bat of the game. Allman, the senior catcher, looking at an 0-1 count. Outside, ball 1, and on the play, very heads up by Tice. Had a nice lead off of second. Recognized that the ball had gotten away from McNabb, the catcher, and he takes off towards third, easily sliding in. And Tice on the passed ball, only 90 feet away now from the Hawks' 4th run of this inning.
Wyatt Allman on up to bat.
Allman takes a strike on the, I guess we'll call that inside corner. Strike 1.
We do have a pretty good vantage point here, Steve, and that looked like it was inside and high.
Here comes the third pitch. That one is definitely high,
Yeah.
no matter what your strike zone is. Ball 2, 2-1 is the count. This is a Shorecrest team that is really struggling this year. 0-14 in Wesco play, 1-16 overall. And this is the third game of the series. The Hawks winning the first 2 games fairly easily. Allman swinging and missing, strike 3, and he goes down on strikes. Second out for the Hawks. It's going to bring up number 20, the very speedy Michael Hunt. Mentioned earlier, the stolen base leader on the team so far this year. Hunt with 6 of them.
Well, he's been hitting the ball well, too.
Said that first pitch, strike 1. Hunt only a sophomore. Or is he a junior? Junior, rather.
Yep.
He's a JV player last year, so really getting his first solid varsity action this year, and he's making the most of it so far. Outside, strike 2. Very wide strike zone there, apparently, for the umpire. And Hunt now looking at an 0-2 count.
You see what Michael does. He steps almost right up to the plate there. Got to protect the other box, I guess.
Hunt trying to bring Tyson from third. Gets that one right off the bat handle.
Yeah.
Fouled away.
Right behind us here.
0-2, still the count.
It's pretty unusual that a ball comes anywhere behind the backstop with that net up above. And occasionally one will find its way.
No gloves needed up here in the booth for us, then, is that what you're saying?
No. If it comes in here, there's something really, really sideways happening.
Large gust of wind. Strike 3 called, and that is the final out of the inning, but not before the damage is done. The Hawks getting 3 runs here in the bottom half of the inning. We head to the second. Hawks 3, Scots 0.
You guys' first league game, or you guys played a couple? Awesome. We got 2 tomorrow.
And here we go, top of the second inning. Dominic DeMiro fires the first pitch for right down the middle, strike 1. This is number 1, the senior, Brady Dixon. Dixon playing shortstop today, batting in that 4 spot. Strike 2 called, outside corner. Umpire with a very wide strike zone. He's been consistent so far, we'll give him that.
Yeah.
If you're going to have a strike zone that wide, you need to call it for both teams, and he has done so. Dixon hits that one into left field and deep. Nebel drifting back, goes over his head, bounces off the fence, and Dixon is going to end up at second base with a stand-up double. And the first time that DeMiro has given up a base hit in over 5 innings. If you're going to give up a base hit, you might as well give it up the right way, right? There's no question about that one. And that will bring up number 20, Ian McNabb. McNabb, a junior, playing catcher today. So you're a pretty good friend of Dominic DeMiro, the pitcher there. What you had a chance to talk to him this week about his hand a little bit?
Yeah, he's been struggling. He can't really write with it. He's had to do a lot of his work on his phone. So, but he said he's ready to pitch. So, looking pretty good so far.
Yeah, up until that last pitch, 1, 2, 3 in the first inning for him. So Mr. Dixon got a hold of one there, and this ball's hit to second base. Phillips fields it on a couple bounces, throws it over to Tice, and McNabb is out 4-3, and on the play, Dixon hustles down to third base. Sacrifice hit there for McNabb, getting the Scots 90 feet away from scoring their first run of the game, and that will bring up number 22, the junior, Reese Hansen. Hansen playing third base today. Ball catches the outside corner, strike 1. This is a Mountlake Terrace team that really has a very nice pitching rotation going right now. DeMiro coming into this game with a 2.88 ERA. Ball is trickled right in front of the catcher's mound there. Getting the play is DeMiro. I'll tell you what, that ball took a wicked hop. It started to bounce towards DeMiro, came in to play it, and all of a sudden it kind of hopped to his right. Had to let it bounce an extra time, picked it up, and still fired it over. And in the meantime, Dixon didn't know what to do because the ball was hit about 20 feet in front of the home plate, and he had to stay at third. So nice out by DeMiro, and he manages to keep Dixon at bay, and he's still at third base. In the dirt, ball 1. This is the freshman, Jason Sarver. Sarver playing right field today. Huge lead over there at third base right now as Dixon is really coming down the line there. 2-0 is the count. Fakes like he's going to take off towards home, and DeMiro looks him back towards the base. Looking into 2-0 count. In the dirt, ball 3-0 to Sarver. So we mentioned a minute ago, a nice pitching rotation right now for the Hawks. DeMiro, Shavenko, and Tice all having really nice seasons. Tice has pitched 33 innings and has an ERA under 2 right now. Strike over the outside corner, 3-1. And that can become important when you start to get into district play here, as it's a double elimination, really, but you can't lose a game, and if you're going to win the district championship, still make it onto the state playoffs. But at that, you need a strong rotation. You can't rely on only one pitcher, and the Hawks have 3 really good ones going right now. DeMiro looking at a full count. Sarver chops that one down the third baseline and foul. Still 3-2. DeMiro with the wind. Strike 3 called. Inside corner, we'll call that. And that is the end of the inning. Shorecrest gets a hit, but they leave it stranded. We head to the bottom of the second. Hawks 3, Scots 0. Again, bottom of the second inning. Hawks with a 3-0 lead. And number 8, Zane Phillips, leading off the second inning here. Batting in the 8th spot today. Phillips is your second baseman, getting his first at-bat of the game. And he's quickly has an 0-1 count against Nick Hendricks, the senior pitcher. Phillips pops that one up. And out of play, strike 2, 0-2 is the count. I was going to say they need to look out over there on the tennis courts, but nobody on the tennis courts right now, so I guess we're in good shape there. Tennis team having a good year so far, right?
Yeah, we have a couple of pretty good girls out there doing some good things this season.
0-2 count. Ball 1-2. Was it Nikki Boucher's playing the number 1, and then Tina Liu?
Yep.
I noticed the team scores aren't doing as well as they'd like to, probably, but a couple of those players at the top of the lineup, they're doing really well.
Yeah.
Low,
I believe they went to state as double, and a double.
Oh, the two of them last year?
Yeah, they were doubles. They won districts, I believe.
And they have districts coming up again as well. Yep. So a lot of sports coming to a conclusion here in the next couple of weeks. Baseball and softball, tennis, soccer.
Yep.
A lot of good things going on here at Mountlake Terrace. And you write for the Hawkeye from time to time, so you get a chance to watch a lot of these athletes, right?
Yeah. It's cool to go to different sports and not just stick with the same ones. Just went to the Terrace Invite last weekend and saw some good competition. The girls got first, I believe, and boys got second out of all the teams there. So,
in track?
In track.
Oh, track, okay. Zane Phillips looking at ball 4 there, walking with a full count. It's going to bring up number 22, Elliot Nebel. Nebel, who in our last broadcast had himself one heck of a game. A big 2-out triple that brought in 2 runs for the Hawks, a game that the Hawks ended up winning 3-2. Neville batting in the 9 spot today. Hendricks throws and bounces that one in a little bit low. Ball 1, 1-0 is the count.
I've been noticing on the Shorecrest team, they have pink hearts on their sleeves, their left sleeves. Wondering about if that's a tribute to somebody they know. Yeah.
A good pickup. I couldn't tell what that was at first, but you're absolutely right. He did call a balk on Hendricks on that last play, so Phillips heads on down to second base. One 0 is the count. Swung on and missed. Strike 1. 1-1 to Neville. As I mentioned it earlier, Mountlake Terrace in a 3-way tie for second place. We know Meadowdale is playing Shorewood today. Shorewood looking for the sweep there. That would certainly help the Hawks out. Strike 2 called. 1-2 is the count. Hawks with only 2 games remaining after today. Monday they play at home against Marysville Getchell. The very next day, on Tuesday, they play a night game up at Everett Memorial Stadium against the Everett Seagulls. And that will conclude their season. The Hawks control their own destiny. They beat Glacier Peak 2 out of 3. They beat Meadowdale 2 out of 3. If they can win this game today and then win those 2 games next week, they will finish in second place. And as we mentioned earlier, that would guarantee them a home game right here next Saturday at 2 p.m., presumably against Ferndale in the first round of districts. Inside, ball 2. 2-2 is the count to Neville. Phillips continuing to get his lead on second base. Hendricks looking in, and the wind. Neville chops that one right down towards third base. Looks it back, throws it over to first, and in time for the out, 1 away.
That was close.
It was very close. I couldn't tell if the umpire was going to call it at first, and finally, with a little delay, did. That was Hansen on third base, who very nicely took a long stare at Phillips, made sure he wasn't going anywhere, threw it over to Mason for the putout, and actually they now are saying he was safe on first base. So Neville did, in fact, beat out that throw.
Yeah, from my view, it looked like he was. It was very close, though.
I thought he was safe at first, too, but then I saw the umpire make a hand gesture, and I thought he'd called him out. Nice stop by Mason. Throws it down to second base, where Wallender's covering the base. Gets Neville out on the play. Phillips heading down to third, and that was Yackley. With the fielder's choice, he ends up on first. So runners on the corners, 1 out. And that brings up Drew Sears. So we mentioned Neville out on the play. Hawks with a 3-0 lead here, bottom of the second inning. Sears lines one right up the middle. Base hit. Easily coming in to score is Phillips. Yackley heads on down to second. Hawks with a 4-0 lead. Sears with a 2-for-2 day so far. We mentioned he was batting .222 coming into the day. The sophomore looking good here so far. 2 on, only 1 out. And that brings up Jason Shavenko. Shavenko singling back in the first inning, eventually came around to score. I take that back. Sacrifice RBI. I was looking at Drew Sears' box score. Sacrifice out to center field for Shavenko. Did get the RBI on that first at bat. So he's looking for his first base hit of the game. And he's also looking at an 0-1 count from Hendricks. Yackley on second, Sears on first. 1 already in and 1 out here in the second inning. Down low, ball 2, 2-1. Hendricks with a long look in. He's finally ready, and here comes the pitch. Shavanko lines it right down the third base line. They're going to say that one was barely foul, which is unfortunate for the Hawks, as it took a wicked bounce on Hansen over there at third base. Got away from him. It certainly would have, at the very least, been bases loaded. And it could have even potentially scored Yackley. However, it was, in fact, a foul ball. We're looking at a 1-2 count. Yackley continuing with his lead on second base. Shavanko hits that one over towards short. Digs it out of the hole, throws it to second for one. Relay not in time. That was Dixon playing shortstop, getting the ball over to Wallander. Gets Sears out on the force. On the play, Yackley hits to third. Shavanko ending up on first base. And that's going to bring up number 3, Dominic DeMiro. DeMiro, as we mentioned earlier, leading the area, not just Wesco, the entire area, with 11 doubles so far this year. If he gets one of those right now, it brings in at least 1, maybe 2. Let's see what he can do here. Got the double in the first inning. A quick timeout by the umpire.
Yeah, you never know with Jason. He's pretty fast.
Yeah, Shavanko with a nice lead over at first base. Ball's just a bit high. Ball 1. 1-0 is the count. We mentioned the sore hand from a hit by pitch 10 days ago for DeMiro. And Hendricks gets called for the balk. Coming in to score is Yackley. Heading down to second base is Shavanko. 5-0 Hawks here, second inning rather. Makes DeMiro's situation a little bit easier now. We mentioned a double might have gotten in the extra run before. Now it's definitely going to get one in. It's the Hawks scoring 3 in the bottom half of the first, 2 here in the second. Already with a 5-0 lead. And DeMiro's looking for more. High ball 2, 2-0. So I started to say a minute ago, we knew DeMiro was going to try to pitch today. We didn't know if he was going to hit or not. Matter of fact, Vince, I even asked you when you got here if he was going to hit. You weren't even sure until you saw the lineup card.
I had no idea, and it really, he told me that it was going to be a game-time decision, and that's exactly what it turned out to be.
And the right call so far. He hit the nice double there. It didn't even look like he had a sore hand in that first inning.
Well, I'm sure it's pretty sore. You might notice he's using a much different bat than he normally uses. Much smaller, lighter bat. And if you are able to look at how he's holding the bat, watch his left hand. I don't even think he has his pinky and ring finger on the handle at all.
Is this a bat he practices with from time to time, or do you know?
No, it was just since he injured his hand. Just trying to protect that real sore spot on the outside of his left hand.
2-1 is the count. Hits that one very sharply down the left field line and foul. 2-2. Baseball is a game of you want to stay practiced. You don't want to lose your rhythm. You get him a couple of bats here today. If he comes up in the third or fourth inning and it is 8-0, 9-0, do you think he's still in the ballgame at that point?
I don't think so. Andrew's really careful with his players, and I appreciate that.
And being that you've only got 2 games left in the regular season and 3 days away and 4 days away at that. So, again, that hand looks like it's okay. He's hitting that ball very sharply, making sure that the Shorecrest bench over there is awake as he's lined 2 shots right off of the fence there in a row.
I just said that Coach Waters is really careful with his players. Dominic just about took Coach Waters out on that line shot.
Which still stands true because he's not one of his players, right? So I guess if he were to hit Waters, it's all good, although that is your coach. You want to make sure you protect him as well. High ball 3. 3-2 is the count.
Dominic does not like pitchers who take a lot of time. He'll call timeout as often as he can to get the rhythm back to where he wants it. I know that's got to be annoying to other pitchers because I know it annoys him.
And we've already seen it a few times today as he's stepped out of that box And Hendricks, he calls another. He calls time almost again. It's that one high up down the first base line. Mason camps under it. Makes the put out, and that is the end of the inning. The Hawks getting 2 more here in the bottom of the second. We head to the third. Hawks 5, Scots 0. You are watching the Sound Live Sports Network. And here we go, top of the third inning. Leading off, number 16, Parker Reed.
Good have you.
Reed playing left field today, getting his first at bat of the game. DeMuro winds and pitches, catches the outside corner. 0-2 count to Reed. DeMuro looking for his third strikeout of the day. And he gets it. The curveball right over the plate. 3 pitches, 3 strikes, and down goes Reed. And this strikeout is brought to you by our strikeout sponsor, Icelandic Construction. We got a little visitor here that just walked into the booth. Look at this guy. Coming out of the woodworks today, a Terrace alum. Might need to get him a microphone here in just a second. Getting a chance to watch number 3 pitch for the first time in person, I think. Yeah. Correct. Adam Jude just walked in a minute ago, and we'll get him on the air here in just a second. This is number 2, Connor Block, the freshman, playing center field and up today for the first time. Swings and misses at that pitch. 1-1 is the count. DeMuro ready with the pitch. Bounces that one up to the plate. Ball 2, 2-1. Kind of wondering, did Adam just come from the University of Washington baseball game, or is that in Utah today?
That was in Utah.
Oh, it was a Utah game.
They won.
And he's giving me the thumbs up. The mighty Huskies winning that game today. Continuing their quest for a Pac-12 championship. Much to the chagrin of one Vince DeMuro.
That's okay.
2-2 count. Block chops that one down the third baseline. And foul.
I want to see these Pacific Northwest teams do well.
So DeMuro giving us a thumbs up then on the Husky baseball program. You might have to, because there's a chance that guy that's pitching out there right now might be wearing purple and gold next year, and if that's the case, we'll see you donning the big purple W in a very quick moment. Strike 3, the 4th strikeout of the day for DeMuro. Another strikeout brought to you by our strikeout sponsor, Icelandic Construction. And that will bring up Nick Hendricks for his second at bat. Hendricks striking out in the first inning. Outside pitch, ball 1, 1-0 is the count. In case you're just joining us, top of the third inning, Hawks with the early 5-0 lead. Batting around rather nicely in the first 2 innings of action for them. 3 in the first inning, 2 in the second. And that is where we stand thus far, as the Hawks looking for the 3-game sweep of the Scots. Ball 3, 3-0 is the count to Hendricks. Outside corner, strike 1, as Hendricks was taking all the way on that pitch. Next pitch, right down the first base line. Tice fields it, takes it to the plate himself, steps on the base, and that is the end of the inning. We're through 2.5. Mountlake Terrace 5, Shorecrest 0. You are watching the Sound Live Sports Network. And we are back here at Mountlake Terrace High School. Heading into the bottom of the third inning, our score, the Hawks 5, the Scots 0. Just got a nice picture on Twitter of Gabe DeMiro and son Dante watching the baseball game today in Boston, Massachusetts. Gabe's got to like what he's seeing so far. Little brother Dominic on the mound and striking out 4 batters through 3 innings of play and holding that 5-0 shutout. So, Gabe, hello to you and hello to your infant son Dante. And speaking of former Hawks, we've got another one up here in the booth with us. Myself, Steve Willits. I'm being joined by TK Johnson, the senior student at Mountlake Terrace High School. And now we're covering a little bit more of the generations. We've got a class of 1999er with us, Adam Jude. Up in the booth here right now is Danny Tice, swings and misses at the first pitch. Should mention that we've got a new pitcher in the game for Shorecrest as well, Diego Fountain, the sophomore, getting his first action of the day. Looks good so far as he gets Danny Tice out. Or I should say gets the strike on Tice. Strike 2 now to Tice. 0-2 is the count. Adam Jude, the 1999 graduate, currently a sports writer for the for the Seattle Times, covering the University of Washington beat. And he's out here checking out his old high school today. Adam, how are you?
I'm great, Steve. Thanks for having me in the booth here.
No, appreciate you coming up here.
First time for baseball, yeah.
No, you got to get you back for that. Tice hits it over to the shortstop. Dixon fires it across to Mason. Mason Dixon, you got to like that. And there is the out. What a way. I don't know how I didn't catch that earlier, but needless to say, we caught it now. And there is one away for your Hawks. So, first time at a baseball game probably in how long?
Boy, it's been a while since I played rather poorly, but played a long time ago.
Did you play here at Mountlake Terrace?
A little bit.
I'm trying to think
not
now.
Too well.
That would have been pre-Andrew Waters, correct?
Yes, it was right before the Andrew Waters era. Yeah, had some fun out here. It was a totally different field. It looks much better than what I remember out here. But,
I'm guessing you played on more of a natural surface back in the day.
You could call it that. It tended to be natural.
At times, huh?
No.
Wyatt Allman, the senior catcher. Ball 1 is the count. This is going to be fun for us. It's fun for you and fun for us, for that matter. You were with the Oregonian for how long?
I was with the Oregonian for just about a year, but then
for just about a year.
Down at it's a fair ball.
Fair ball right down the left field line into the corner. Wyatt Allman, who had a few doubles last week, gets it. No, he's might even. Okay, I was going to say he might be looking at a triple there, but he does finally pull up as the ball gets thrown back into the infield, and the senior stands up on second base there with a one-out double. That will bring up number 20, Michael Hunt. So Oregonian for only 1 year. Then where were you before that?
I was at the Eugene paper, the Register Guard in Eugene, for about 8 years. So, and just got back up here last year at the Seattle Times. So we're loving it, being back in the neighborhood here, and having a great time. This is wanted to come out and check out Dominic here. And heard so many great things, and fun to see him out there. I remember Dominic as a little toddler when I was in school here, so it's kind of fun to see him.
Yeah, back when you were going to school, if you had to just stand in the batter's box against him.
Yeah, I probably would have. They probably would not have let me stand in the batter's box, first of all. But
and now,
I've been way back in
2014, you wouldn't want to stand in that batter's box
No,
against him.
No thanks.
So we're looking at an 0-1 count to Hunt. Gets away from the catcher, pass ball. Actually, we'll call that a wild pitch. Got a pinch runner in there right now. It looks like it is Nolan Takaya getting his first action, courtesy runner rather. So Allman is not out of the game, just simply has a courtesy runner in for him right now, and Takaya heads on down to third base. One out here, 5-0 Hawks. So Adam, you're covering a little bit of everything these days. I noticed covering the Mariners for a while there too.
Helping out a little bit with that. Just kind of slow time for Husky football now. So just giving our regular beat writer Ryan Divish a couple days off here and there. So yeah, I'll probably do about a dozen games or so, fill in with some other stuff here and there. So yeah, it's kind of fun to get into the Mariners clubhouse every now and then. And check out the atmosphere there. It's they run a class organization, obviously trying to get things turned around on the field, but it's a lot of fun to get in there.
And starting to a little bit as they took 2 from the Yankees there, 12-14 record right now. Well, we'll take that.
Felix on the mound tonight against Houston. You like their chances there?
Well, we thought that 2 weeks ago too, though, right?
True.
It didn't work out very well.
I covered that. Well, that was my first one actually. And didn't expect Felix to get lit up by the Astros.
No, I think we were all thinking possible a special day that game, and it was not to be. But we'll see what he can do in round 2. But so I've got to think that's fun for you because being down in Oregon, really not as many pro sports to cover.
Right.
You're pretty much exclusively Oregon Ducks, and now you get a chance from time to time to cover a sports beat. And
obviously a little bit bigger market, more pro teams. I got to help out with the Seahawks a little bit, covered the NFC Championship game against the Niners, so it's kind of fun to be in the locker room and afterwards for that atmosphere and getting to dabble in some other stuff. So it's great that I get that opportunity. Obviously, passionate about college football, and it's really fun to cover the Huskies, and obviously a new era there, and things are looking up for the Huskies. But yeah, it's kind of fun in the offseason to dabble in other things as well.
Full count coming to Hunt. Gets away from the catcher McNabb one more time. Takaya is going to stay on third base. I thought we had a full count. I guess it's full count now. Is that correct? So Hunt standing in with a 3-2 count. I like how you kind of downplayed that, too. It was kind of fun to be in the locker room for the NFC Championship. Really, Adam? Just a team going to the Super Bowl. That's no big deal, right?
Yeah, I talked to McLemore a little bit. He was enjoying the scene in there. That's for sure.
Yeah, he looked like he was having more fun than some of the players were.
Yeah, there was some cool videos that they put out from that.
So if we
I can't repeat a lot of the stuff he said, but he ran by in the. Unfortunately, I was trying to get on the field for the very last series. Obviously, when Sherman had the tip in the end zone, and they wouldn't let the media out just yet. But they let McLemore and his posse run by us, and he stopped and watched that play on the monitor right by us. And should say he's not a fan of Colin Kaepernick. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine you couldn't. I mean, the guy's a rapper, right? He's got to have his street cred, and
Right.
he's
Right.
not going to keep everything super clean. As Hunt takes off for second base and easily heading in there with his 7th stolen base of the year is number 20, Michael Hunt. So he's at second. We still have Allman on third. Hawks looking for more as they currently lead 5-0. Diego Fountain now with a 1-1 count to Zane Phillips. So I know I've asked you this question before, but it's always a new audience with a different sport here. I've got you standing just to my left. To my right here, a guy that you know fairly well,
Absolutely.
Vince DeMero, the journalist legend here at Mountlake Terrace. The guy who's just, every time you turn around, there's another alum coming back who's doing big things in the journalism field, and you happen to be right at the top of that list. What was it like to go to school back in 1999 with this guy as a teacher?
A lot fewer gray hairs, that's for sure.
For you or for him?
Sure, yeah. I remember getting him some of that Just for Men hair coloring gels. One of my graduation gift for him. That's, yes.
You can tell I definitely
Yeah.
used it.
No, it was a blast, and Vince loves to give me a hard time about our introduction when I think I was just 14 years old, an incoming freshman, and him and my dad had a chance encounter at my little brother's football game out here at the field in front of the high school, and Vince's son Gabe was on the same team as my brother. That's a shot.
Nice shot there by Phillips into the gap, left center field. Takaya comes in to score. Hunt coming in to score on the play, and Phillips standing on second base with a 2-run double. Speaking of football, we've got a football score now, 7-0 Hawks here in the third inning.
Perfect line drive to the gap. I like that. We've got a great view for that right here.
Yeah, Phillips, the youngster, with a nice shot there, right into the gap there, I should say. That is going to bring up number 22, Elliot Nebel. Nebel, who singled in his first at-bat here in the second inning. Now up for the second time today. Looking to expand on that 7-run lead. So you and Vince had a meeting, your freshman year of high school? Is that
Yeah,
what happened?
him and my dad, just kind of two dads talking. You know, their sons were practicing in football. I think I was running off to the side somewhere, and Vince introduced himself to my dad, and came around. And Vince was the newspaper journalism advisor here, and I think I had taken a yearbook / journalism class in middle school or something that piqued my interest, and so my dad said it was something that I had expressed interest in, and so Vince encouraged my dad to encourage me to stop by. I remember he gave my dad his business card, and first week of high school, I remember taking the card and walking nervously into room 130 here at Terrace and introducing myself to Vince, and took off from there. I was shocked. He invited me to come in, sit on some meetings, and write a story right away. And me and my good friend Shane Day, whose older brother Brady was one of the top editors at the time. Me and Shane wrote
Ooh! Inside, and that hits Nebel. He's going to head on down to first base.
shook that right off.
One way to get on there.
you
Yeah,
go.
tough kid there, Nebel. Nice job as he.
Speaking of Shane,
How about that?
a little shout out
How
to
about
him.
that?
That's
Shane
another
Day.
success story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Getting his PGA certification teaching card here this last week.
No kidding. Where's he?
It's been a long process.
Now, where's he located? In?
He lives in Everett. He's local still, so he's been working up there at Legion Memorial for a long time and doing good stuff. So yeah, we're proud of Shane for sure. I've taken advantage of his golf skills a few times over the years. They've never stuck, unfortunately, but that's more
So we'll give
indication of my play than his teaching. But, yeah.
We'll give Vince DeMero some credit for what he did for you in your journalism career. Do we give him any credit for Mr. Day's golf skills?
Sure, of course.
Right.
No, but Vince was a great mentor, and I certainly owe him so much. It's always fun to kind of come back and see what he's doing here at the Hawkeye, and this is such a cool thing you guys got going here. I've really enjoyed it, checking it out a few times with Sound Live. Seems like always something new, and Vince has been at the forefront of so much of that.
Well, and you kind of segued into something that I wanted to discuss before the end of this broadcast, and we'll bring it up now. We were originally going to broadcast on Tuesday this week, but we decided to do Friday instead. And why was that, Vince?
Well, the Hawkeye and HBN and the Tempo Yearbook, the three primary student media on campus, we entered the whole school community, into a very difficult and challenging, as it should be, national award process. And Mountlake Terrace High School was named one of 6 schools in the country to receive the First Amendment Press Freedom Award. And Tuesday night at the school board meeting, that was acknowledged by the school board, Principal Greg Schwab, and the whole entire Mountlake Terrace High School community was honored for that award, because it does take the entire community to understand and appreciate what the First Amendment means, and how that can be not only your First Amendment rights be upheld, but then how to conduct yourself responsibly with those rights. And that's what Mountlake Terrace, and by the way, this was the 5th time Mountlake Terrace High School has been so honored with that award, and it always is an amazing thing to be considered amongst the few schools in the country. Unfortunately, I mean, I wish there were more schools that would get the award, but it is kind of an amazing award, and it was really cool to have the school board take time out of their meeting to acknowledge them. So that's where we were on Tuesday.
Well, they should have. I mean, that's a big deal. Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic.
And I mean, it never gets old. We talk about this a lot. It's probably kind of awkward for you to have to hear us say it out loud here, but as that ball is hit into shallow right field, Drew Sears flies out, and on the play, everybody staying put as Jaden Yackley walked right before that. So we now have the bases loaded. Can't tell if we have any courtesy runners or not. We've got Phillips on at third, Neville on at second, and Yackley on at first. And we've got TK Johnson joining us back again here. But that speaks volumes to what Vince has been able to do with this journalism program. When you hear about an award like that being given to our school, one of only a few in the country, like I said, I hear Vince saying that on my right-hand side. I look to my left, and here you are standing, and, don't mean to put you in an awkward spot, but, I mean, it's a pretty cool deal what you've got going right now. You've certainly you're a success story from the MTHS standpoint, and to see you as one of the better beat writers I've ever read, and for the Seattle Times, I'll give you
have to say that.
I will say that because I mean it, and you do a heck of a job, and it speaks volumes for what he's been able to do with this journalism program here for many years now.
I think you said it all, and Vince there too. I mean, Vince has been doing this for. I don't want to date you, Vince, but a long time. Yeah, and
I'll say it. I was here 23 years ago, and he was one of my teachers. So,
but certainly those kinds of awards are awesome and well deserved. But it really goes back to Vince and the foundation he sets. And I've been on so-called professional staffs and in professional newsrooms that don't do it as well as the Hawkeye, and with the staff that they have there, and with the dedication and
ooh. Sorry about that, as we had a quick moment there where Jason Shavenko had to duck away from a ball. If that hits him, it brings a run in here as the bases are loaded, as Diego Fountain
might be bringing the ambulance in too. But.
Yeah, that was right towards his head there as Shavenko ducks away from what ends up being ball 2. So that is a 2-2 count now to Shavenko with the bases loaded. Hawks up by 7. There are 2 outs here in the third. 2 runs already in. Outside ball 3, 3-2.
I'm not sure I've done a good job articulating it, but I owe a lot to Vince, and he's why I enjoy coming back here all the time. And I just had such a great experience in high school. I'm not sure everyone can say that, but all of my friends from the Hawkeye that I still keep in touch with, I know they all feel the same, and even the ones that didn't go on to pursue journalism.
Swung on and missed. Hey, we're going to keep it right here because we're going to talk about this a little bit more. Hawks with 2 runs across here in the third inning as Shavenko strikes out. We head to the 4th inning with a score, Mountlake Terrace 7, Shorecrest 0. And just to continue with this conversation, is TK Johnson also on with us. TK is a senior here at the high school, and also you take pictures for the Hawkeye, you write for the Hawkeye.
Yep.
You have what's a pretty nice opportunity for you and the rest of the students here at Mountlake Terrace. Occasionally you get guys like Adam Jude to come back and actually speak to you. I think you've actually heard Adam talk, right, to the classroom?
Yes, he came to our retreat during the fall, the winter time, and talked about his time in the Seattle Times and his time before that and everything, and very, very inspiring to see somebody who went from our high school newspaper and made a career out of it. It's very inspiring. And
very nice to hear TK say that, but he was one of the few that actually stayed awake while I was talking about it. I appreciate that. That's for sure.
A lot of caffeine that day, right? No, but that's got to be fun. I mean, I know that, and Adam's not the only one that's done that. I know you've had other members of, I can't think of any of the names right now. I don't know if you know them off the top of your.
There are a bunch of them.
But yeah, there's
a pretty long list, and I'm so honored that they would come back and do that.
Yeah, so I've got to think for you, TK, and the rest of the students. I mean, do you guys talk about that amongst yourselves after a guy like Adam comes in and speaks to the class about how, hey, this is kind of a cool opportunity, and we're doing something that a lot of other schools don't get the chance to do right now? And
yeah, we talk about it a lot. Mainly the sports section that I hang out with. We're always talking about Adam and how we can learn from his writing and incorporate what he's told us. I went to his WJA workshop, and I learned how you want to focus on the game, but you also want to find something that nobody else knows about, and put that, because anybody can write a game recap and say the final score, but you want to find out something like with Dominic. He hasn't played, or he just came off an injury, and so now he's doing really good, and so that's something that if I was going to write a recap for this game, I would mention that definitely.
And that ball by Wallander is hit right over to the shortstop. Drew Sears fires across the diamond. Danny Tice with the putout, one away here in the fourth inning. That will bring up number 5, Alex Mason. And Adam, do you enjoy that sort of thing in terms of the workshops? And I know it's probably a chance for you to kind of feel like you're giving back a little bit. And certainly not something you have to do by any means. I mean, do you have fun doing it? Do you?
Yeah, it's great. It's like I said, it was it's how I got my start, and I was so invested in it, and probably a little bit too much, but I look back, fondly at my time with the Hawkeye and with Vince and all the great friends I made, and
that was Yackley, by the way, fielding the ball very cleanly over at third base. Gets that one over to Tice. Another put out for Tice over there at first base, and Mason is down. It's out number 2, and that will bring up the senior Brady Dixon. Dixon, who had a deep double into left field in the first inning, looking to get something going here for his Shorecrest Scots with 2 outs here in the fourth.
But I know it's a lot of work that these guys put into the hockey. I don't know if people realize, how much goes into it, and the stuff you guys do here. And it's because they're passionate about it, and they want to learn. They want to be part of a team that's away from sports. But it's fun to be part of a team like the Hawkeye, with people that are similarly dedicated as you are. And like I said, I got so much out of it, and it's fun to come back and see what they're doing, carrying on the tradition, and to know that that's just the beginning for these guys. The work that they're putting in now, I mean, you're in it. It feels like sometimes you're just grinding all the time, but
Phillips.
Nice inning for Dominic.
Dominic, 1, 2, 3,
Making
and the whole infield getting a work out there as he gets one to the short, one to third, and one to second. So 1, 2, 3 inning. Hey, we'll continue to keep it right here. Heading to the bottom of the fourth inning with the Hawks up 7-0. And hey, let's talk about some fun stuff here for a little bit too. We talked about the Seahawks a little bit. You are you're covering the beat for the University of Washington, and really it's more or less all sports, right? Predominantly football, basketball, but
right, yeah, kind of filling in a little bit here and there with everything, and covering the UW athletic department. Has a almost $100 million budget, and so as I'm sure everyone has seen, that all the changes in the NCAA, or the potential changes looming with the NCAA. It's become such a big business these days, and it seems like more and more each year with TV contracts and student athlete rights, and it's just so much going on. It's kind of a constant year-round beat to keep on top of that, and I enjoy it a lot. But yeah, it's been fun to follow UW baseball this year too, kind of coming out of nowhere. Brand new ballpark this year, $15 million, long overdue. Is probably one of the worst major college baseball fields in the country, and for them to now have one of the best, I think it's going to turn that program around, and they've done it already. I think they were picked to finish 10th in the Pac-12 this year, and they're right up there in the top 10 in the country now. So I've been close to going to the College World Series a couple times. When I was covering Oregon, they had a good program restarted back up there about 5 years ago, and got that going quickly. But it'd be fun to kind of get the chance to go to the World Series with the Huskies if they're able to kind of keep this thing going. And they'll probably have a chance at this point, barring a big collapse. They'll host a playoff series for the first time in their history, and that's huge. That's just in terms for the sport in the Northwest and in Seattle here locally. I'm not sure a lot of people know how much fun college baseball can be when you have it going well. So it'd be fun to see that kind of catch on a little bit. Like I said, it's a first-class facility now, and they've obviously got the athletes, and it's fun to see competitive college baseball for sure.
Yeah, it is kind of amazing. I lived in Oklahoma City for 1 year, and when I'm born and raised here. This is my high school, so I obviously know what college baseball means or doesn't mean to the Pacific Northwest. We barely even follow it for the most part. Living in the Midwest, you turn on the radio on a Tuesday night or a Wednesday night, and they have a whole hour or two devoted to Big 12 baseball. And you start talking about what does the third base look like for Missouri this year? What's Iowa State doing in their infield? And things that we wouldn't even think to talk about here. And then you go to a University of Washington baseball game, and you're lucky if you see a couple hundred people at a game. I mean, is this something that really, if the team keeps playing well and with the new stadium being what it is could we start to see this trend keep going in this direction to where people actually care about this and start following it? Weather's obviously going to be a challenge always.
Right, and that's always going to be the challenge. But they've got it's nice of indoor facility as you can find too. It holds, I think, 6 or 7 batting cages at one time, and then they can open that up and they can take infield in there, and they've got 3 or 4 pitching mounds. So.
Dominic DeMiro, by the way, just looked at strike 2, 1 and 2, and I don't know if that was intentional or not, but didn't like the call, but his body kind of turned, and I feel like he kind of looked up at his dad and made eye contact with Vince here. Like, I don't think that was a strike, Dad.
Let's go 3.
So DeMiro doubling in the first inning. Second inning, popped up to first base. Now in his third at bat for the game. Looking at a 1-2 count.
Wow.
Hits that one into left field. The fielder is going back. Camps underneath it. Makes the catch for out number 1. So DeMiro now 1 for 3 on the day. Should mention also that coming into this game, he was batting .436 on the season. Now that's all. 11 doubles on the year right now. About the only thing he hasn't done so far this year is hit a home run. Other than that, he's having himself one heck of a year and continues to do so. And we mentioned earlier, Adam, I don't know if you were aware of this, Dominic took a pitch to the hand 10 days ago when he was at the plate. This is his first time picking up a bat in 10 days. Now we've got a pinch hitter coming in. Jesse Prothro's getting his first action of the day. So I'll give Dominic a lot of credit just for getting out there with the bat today. And really, he's 1 for 3, but 2 of those 3 at-bats, very solid. Got underneath that one just a little too much on that last batter. That might have gone over the fence. So Prothro coming in for Dan Tice right now. Makes me almost wonder if maybe Tice isn't warming up in the bullpen. We can't see it from here, but thinking Prothro might be coming in to pitch. He had himself one heck of a game on the JV squad last Friday. Believe had 10 strikeouts in that game. Good eye by Prothro. 2-0 is the count. So yeah, the Huskies keep playing this way. If I believe the top 16 teams in the nation generally get to host a round of playoffs at home. Is that correct?
Yeah, they'll seed the top 8 for national seeds, and then for the first round of regionals, they'll select 16 sites. To host, and then if you're one of the top 8 and you advance, you automatically host super regionals too in the next round. So, and then the winners of the super regionals advance to Omaha for the College World Series. So, yeah, especially if they're one of those top 8 seeds, those are the main coveted seeds. So they'd be guaranteed to host throughout the playoffs till the World Series. So that's pretty special. And like I said, hasn't been done before ever here. And so for them to be able to have that as a potential option is pretty exciting for them, no doubt.
Prothro fouls that one off full count, and really they've never even come close, right? I mean, as far as you said, they've never hosted it.
Right. Part of that was because of the facilities just wouldn't allow it. The field was just so bad that they couldn't host 3 other teams, and and the media and the TV cameras. They just didn't have the infrastructure set up. Now that isn't an issue. Like I said, they've got one of the finer facilities, on the West Coast at this point, if not the country. So that was part of it. And then, it's been 10 years since they've made the postseason anyway, since the Lincecum era. So, pretty special season so far for the Huskies. It's been fun to keep track of that.
So we call that the Lincecum era. Can we call this the Jude era? Is that fair?
I don't know about that.
You come in here and they immediately are a top 10 team.
They've got some good talent. They've got
ball 4 for Prothero as he heads on down to first base.
They've got one of the better pitching prospects in the Pac-12. Coming unknown guy, Jeff Brigham. He's their Sunday guy, their number 3 starter, but he's coming off Tommy John surgery, and he's hit 98 this spring and has a minuscule ERA. And I think he'll go probably one of the top 5 rounds, I'd say, in June in the Major League Draft. So they've got guys with a lot of talent there too, and they're one of the best hitting teams in the Pac-12 as well. Again, college baseball kind of goes unnoticed here a little bit in Seattle, but I think they have a chance to kind of catch on. Lindsey makes a nice job turning that program around, and we'll see what happens here in the next few years.
They've got another pitcher there that we might recognize too, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Choate. I ended up talking to him. He got I covered the first game ever in the new Husky ballpark, and he got the win in relief. He looked great.
And that's Brandon Choate. And
yeah.
I'm trying to think a few years back, right? He's got to be about a sophomore now, is that?
He's a transfer,
okay.
Yeah. Transfer into
swung on and missed by Allman as Prothero on the pitch heads on down to second base with a stolen base. Nice job by Jesse there. Allman swings at strike 2. 1-2 is the count. So that's always kind of fun. You've got a top 10 college baseball team and a Mountlake Terrace High School alum.
How about that? His first win for the Huskies was the first ever win at the new Husky ballpark. So yeah, that was pretty neat.
And he's having himself a pretty good season too. I noticed his stats the other day; they weren't anything too shabby.
I haven't looked at him, I guess, the last couple weeks, but I know he had a nice start to the season and had a chance to catch up with them a little bit after that win. He's one of their power right-handed arms coming out of the bullpen.
And I believe another one of their, I think the guy who's hitting 4th in the lineup, Matsui, Shorewood alum. So we've got a few Westco ties in there. I don't think he's the only one either. I don't have the roster in front of me, but I was noticing one day there's a few local guys there that are from the north end here. So it's always kind of fun to see the local guys getting it done.
And that's what you have to do in college baseball for the most part. It's hard with the NCAA scholarship limits. I think they allot 11.8 to 11.5 scholarships. It's kind of funny how they divvy that up, but
Allman hits that one out of play. Still a full count. So just out of curiosity, what does a normal day look like for you in terms of you're in the spring here. There's no basketball games, no football games. Occasionally a baseball game. Like today, the team was on the road. For instance, let's just take today as an example. Did you go down to the UW at all, or is it mostly are you working the phones trying to get angles as to what's going on?
Yeah, I'm working on some stuff for next week. We got the NFL draft coming up, so obviously a few Huskies should be selected in that. Austin Safarian Jenkins, local guy, the top tight end ever coming out of UW. So I think he'll go probably in the second round next week in the NFL draft.
Allman, by the way, walking down to first base there, brings up number 9, Bed Rainin. We've got a few different guys getting some action now. We have a pinch runner in there, or a courtesy runner as well. So Rainin is actually coming in to bat for Hunt.
Looks like Wyatt's still on base.
Was that Wyatt still over there at first?
Yeah, he's still at first.
So we got Wyatt at first from the walk.
Which means they may want to
Prothero at second. 7-0 here. We're starting to look like we could even get towards that mercy rule. Again, after 5 innings of play, if a team is up by 10 runs or more, the game is automatically over. Hawks with a 7-run lead right now here in the bottom of the 4th. Strike called to Ben Rainin. So yeah, if you're covering a college team, if you're a beat writer for a newspaper, there's really no off season for you, is there? I mean, maybe a little bit in the summer, but other than that, you're keeping pretty busy.
Yeah, hoping to have some quiet time in July before football season really kicks into gear at the beginning of August for training camp and all that. But always seemed to be something going around and helping out with the Mariners too. It was kind of took up most of my week last week, so keeping busy usually is not a problem. Yeah.
And when you finally get an off day or some slow time, you get your old high school call and you
Yeah,
go, hey,
there
come
you
on out
go.
to the booth and join us for a game here. So you're never getting away from sports, are you?
This is this is great. I enjoy this a lot, and we just started T-ball with MTYAA here this spring, so helping out with that a little bit, and it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun for sure.
So is that at the old Forest Crest?
Yep,
Okay.
absolutely.
Did you play MTYA back in the day, or were you?
Did a little bit. I
okay.
spent did Alderwood Little League most of my time growing up, and peaked when I was about 12 on the mound. too many curveballs by that point, but. I played a couple years after that MTYA, and then my brother played a lot of MTYA too.
So they started throwing curveballs, and you thought, let's give this journalism thing a try.
I was throwing too many curveballs. Thought I had a good one and threw it too often.
Rainian lines that one right over to first base, and bobbling it is Mason. Wallander trying to make the play and coming up behind him, backs him up and stops the ball from going in the outfield. However, everybody's safe. Prothrow heading down to third. Allman on second, and Rainian ends up on first base. Give an E3 on that play. Base is loaded, only one out here, and that's going to bring up Zane Phillips. Phillips with a double in his last at bat. Diego Fountain continuing to pitch here. Ball one, 1-0 is the count. I want to mention one other thing here before we get too far into this. We haven't brought this up yet, and I want to bring this up multiple times. The MTHS community event tomorrow. Adam, you going to be in the area tomorrow? You come by the school?
What do you got?
We've got a little bit of everything going on tomorrow. This is a big fundraiser that supports the PTSA. It supports the All Sports Booster Club, football boosters, Puget Sound Blood Center. We've got a lot of things going on here at the school tomorrow. I know big car wash tomorrow, so if you need your car washed, I know the Mountlake Terrace High School football team is going to be out here from 10 to 4. Right at the front of the school as Phillips swings and misses at strike two. So they'll be washing cars out there. There's a big blood drive going on tomorrow that's Melissa Reed and Team Kelly are putting on. That's in honor of Kelly Watson, our good friend who passed away last month from cancer. And I know Team Kelly and her supporters are still helping to do good in the community, and they've got a blood drive going on tomorrow. So I'm already signed up for that, and if anybody wants, they can certainly come on and get involved with that. We've got a drive for your school event, so if you want, you can come by the school tomorrow, drive a Ford car, and for every person that comes by and drives a car, $20 will be donated to the high school. So, and Phillips takes that one. Are they going to say foul ball?
Foul ball off
say
the handle.
I guess they're going to say handle. I thought it got him up a little higher, but at any rate, it's a foul ball, so 2-2 is the count. So all you have to do tomorrow is you come by, you drive a car, and $20 gets donated to the school. And I can say that I've done this a couple times, and I know that there's folks who kind of question whether or not they want to get involved because, well, does that mean sales reps are going to call my house? Or Phillips hits that one very sharply over to third, and losing the ball is Hanson. He was running over towards the base. It just came out of his glove. Everybody's safe, including Prothrow, who comes in to score. That makes it 8-0 right now as Phillips ends up over on first. We'll call that an E6. On the play, Rainian goes down to second, Allman third. Bases are still juiced here in the bottom of the fourth. And getting back to what I was saying there is Elliot Neville comes up to the plate. Folks are kind of concerned that if they come and do this event, they're going to get a bunch of phone calls or they're going to get their inbox spam mailed and everything else. It doesn't happen that way. I've done this twice in the last 2 years. I think maybe Harris Ford has sent me 2 emails. It's not that bad. And again, it's very simple and it's kind of fun actually. You come by here, there's usually 4 or 5 Ford vehicles out here. You can choose which one you want to drive. And you go on a test drive with somebody like, I think I'm volunteered or signed up for like an hour tomorrow. You come by here, you get to drive a car with me sitting in the passenger seat, and I'm not going to try to sell anything.
Who wouldn't want to stop by?
Yeah, right. Hey, it gets better, folks. You don't have to drive with me. There's other folks too. But the point being that it's volunteer based. It's not. I'll drive the car, but I don't want Steve Willits with me.
I would pay for Steve to be in the car.
There you go.
Steve Willits. It's a new movie.
Yeah, you can put me in the back seat. It's great. I'll drive in the trunk for a while. But at any rate, you get to come by. You don't have a sales rep driving with you. You're basically in the car with an MTHS volunteer. Take the car around for a quick spin, which is kind of neat. You can pick and choose which car you want to drive. You want to drive a sports car? Do you want to drive an SUV? Whatever the case may be, you spin it around the block. You come back in, and MTHS gets $20. So that's really, really easy. trying to get 300 people to come do that tomorrow so we can get $6,000 donated to the school. If anybody out there is listening, if you don't have anything going tomorrow, just drop on by the high school. It's between 10 o'clock and 4 o'clock. It's that simple, so we'd like to have you do that. There's going to be a barbecue out here the whole time that I think the football team is mainly putting on. Hot dogs, hamburgers, popcorn, sodas, you name it, as Neville fouls that one off. Full count here with the bases loaded. There's also going to be a spring bazaar. I think there's 60 or 70 vendors that are going to be selling items inside the school. The concession stand is going to be open. A little bit of everything going on. A health and wellness fair tomorrow. And we already mentioned the blood drive. So really a little bit of everything. Come on by tomorrow, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Neville lines that one over to second base. Goes over to the shortstop, gets one out. Neville hustling down the first baseline is safe at first, and that means Wyatt Allman comes in to score. 9-0 Hawks.
Looks like Mountlake Terrace is the place to be tomorrow.
Mountlake Terrace is the place to be. TK, you going to be here?
Yeah, I am.
There you go. Just walking around. You can check things out. What are you looking forward to tomorrow?
I'm thinking I'm going to be walking around, but I'll also be in the Hawkeye room. We got a issue coming out next week that we got to prepare for, so probably be in the office a lot of the time.
Come on by room 130, see TK Johnson, and do a little bit of
See how the magic is made.
Yeah.
I like it.
I don't know how far you can get into that, but wouldn't hurt to stop by and say hi.
Yeah, so, hey, one extra bonus there, right?
Yeah.
So there's everything going on tomorrow. So, again, we invite everybody in the community to come out for that. 10 a.m., 4 p.m., right here at the high school. And we've got another pinch hitter up. This is Nolan Takaya. He's already been a courtesy runner today. And now he's getting his first action at the plate with runners at first and third and 2 out here in the 4th inning. So, Adam, did we sell you? Are you here tomorrow?
I think I might have to stop by. Sounds like a great event for sure. Somebody wants to get home.
Nolan Takaya getting a strike called against him there, 0-1. Actually, I don't think the ump does want to get home. If he wanted to get home quicker, he'd let that run come across here and get that 10-run mercy rule thing going. But strike 2 called, and I've got to tell you, he's been consistent. I will say this for both teams, but that strike zone is about as wide as it gets. That was in the other box just now. Diego Fountain looks in for the call, winds and pitches. Takaya just hits that one right off of the end of the bat there. Ball is thrown across, and just getting there before Takaya is the throw, and that is the end of the inning, but not before the Hawks come up with 2 more runs. We head to the 5th inning. Hawks 9, Scots 0. You are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network. And here we go to the top of the 5th inning. The Hawks with a 9-0 lead. Number 3, Dominic DeMiro continuing to pitch. He's going to be facing Ian McNabb. McNabb, who had a sacrifice ground out to second base in his first at-bat, coming up for the second time today. And Adam Jude, once again, we'll let you go because we know your wife is out there watching the game by herself, but we certainly appreciate you coming up as McNabb hits that one very sharply towards Takaya. Gets right past him into left field for the single, and McNabb standing at first base. But hey, Adam, again, we appreciate you coming up. Thanks for sharing with us some of your stories,
Absolutely.
and always good to have you back here. You're welcome anytime. And
Well, thank you. It's always great to come back.
enjoy your
Really
weekend.
appreciate you having me.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, TK.
Yeah.
So, number 22, Reese Hansen coming up. And TK, that's got to be kind of fun, right? I mean,
Yeah.
now we can talk about him. He's not here, but in all seriousness, Adam, kind of a legend around here. I mean, he's the main beat reporter for the Seattle Times for the University of Washington Sports, and got to think for aspiring journalists like yourself and some of the others, that's quite a guy to look up to, isn't it?
It is. He was also a big news writer back in the Hawkeye. So, in this issue, I kind of went in his footsteps, and I wrote a story about the Oso landslide, and that was a tough article to write. So, hopefully, the readers enjoy that.
And that's actually coming out in the physical Hawkeye.
Yeah,
That's
in the
not on
physical
online?
newspaper.
Okay.
Yeah, that will be out next week. I believe Thursday is the distribution date.
I was noticing, I don't know if you'll know this off the top of your head. If not, Vince is standing right next to you here. But went into Starbucks today over on 44th and 228th. And I noticed that they have a newspaper rack there, and the Hawkeye was one of the papers
Yes.
on there. We're located in a few different locations now, right?
Yeah, Starbucks, Sorelli's, I believe, is one of them, and then Red Onion, the library. Then there's I think Subway or something, or Tina's hair salon.
Phillips to Sears over to Prothro, who's now playing first base. The 6-4-3, or I should say the 4-6-3 double play clears the bases off. Nice job by all three of those infielders, as well as the pitcher, Dominic DeMiro. 2 away, and that's going to bring up number 7, Jason Sarver. So, point being that if folks want to check out that issue of the Hawkeye, after maybe late next week, early the next week, they can go to any of those locations and pick up a copy. And always fun to see what you guys are writing about. And you guys do a great job, by the way, so I appreciate
Thank you very
everything you
much.
do. And
It's always nice to hear that. Make sure that we're not just doing it for nothing. We actually have people that read our stuff.
no, definitely not. Sears is going to field this one, throws it across the diamond, and we get another out. Hey, want to give another score along here, too. A huge game happening up in Marysville right now. Softball game between the Mountlake Terrace Hawks and the Marysville Pilchuck Tomahawks. That is a game in which Mountlake Terrace, with a 6-game winning streak, they're 6-2 in the conference. They're playing the first-place team in Wesco North, Marysville Pilchuck. 2-2 score heading to the 7th inning. We appreciate Stan Christensen for texting in that score for us. So, big day for Mountlake Terrace softball as they go for win number 7. And we'll give you a final score from there if we get one before this game ends.
Looks like we have another pitcher for the Scots.
Yes, Scots are bringing in number 10 right now. That's the senior Kyle Wallander, who was playing second base prior to that. Hey, softball team, that's a team you've covered a little bit too, right?
Yes, it has. The pitching is going to be good for the next few years. I believe 2 of them are freshmen. At least 2 are freshmen. So
2 freshmen and a sophomore, yeah.
Yeah, and then so they're set for a few years, I would say.
And speaking of which, kind of an unfortunate thing an unfortunate thing that happened last week. One of those freshman pitchers you're talking about, Kira Doan, tore her ACL during warm-ups before a game, and she's out for the season. Fortunately for her, she does have 3 more years left, but she was pitching very well this year and playing outfield and doing a nice job, so we certainly wish her all the best and hope for a speedy recovery for Kira. And not a bad way to debut. You're as a Mountlake Terrace Hawk, coming in here and getting a starting job right off the bat and being a big part of that 6-game winning streak. And so we hope she does well and continue to follow her and the rest of her teammates. But that's a team that went to state last year, team that made it all the way to Lacey and was one of the last 8 teams standing on the final day of the softball state tournament. And certainly they're playing well again, and hopefully they can keep that going.
Yeah, that'd be nice to go back down there. I didn't get a chance to go down there last year, but I'll probably go down there this year if they make it.
Yeah, I don't remember what the final score was on their last game, but the 5 games prior to that, they had outscored their opponents 60-3. 6-0-3. Amazing, really, what they were able to do.
It wouldn't be surprising if they get far in the postseason.
And, hey, we'll use that to promote ourselves here a little bit. On Tuesday, we're going to be broadcasting another one of their games against Meadowdale, the team that's in first place right now, a team that finished third in the state last year and brought back, I think, all but one of their players from that team, and a team that's undefeated in Wesco play. So it's a 4 p.m. start, Mountlake Terrace versus Meadowdale. We'll have it right here on the Sound Live Sports Network, and who knows, maybe the Hawks will still have that winning streak going if they can beat Pilchuck today. And certainly, like I said, Meadowdale, a very formidable opponent, and that should be a lot of fun to watch. We'll see what happens. Inside pitch, and this is Raiden Silva getting his first action of the day. 3-0 count to Silva. It's number 10 pitching, that's Wallander. Wallander throwing his first strike of the game. 3-1 is the count. Silva swings and misses, full count.
Speaking of that game next week, I don't think it'll be a disappointing game. Should be a good game either way.
Oh, the Meadowdale Mountlake Terrace. Yeah, that should be a great game.
Of course, you want Terrace to win, but it'd be a good game to watch.
Silva hits that one into left field. Camping underneath it is the left fielder, who we believe at this point is Reed. Makes the catch, one away. This is a Shorecrest team that only had 3 backup players coming into this game, and with the batting rotation happening the way it is right now, it's hard to keep up with some of the players and where they're going. We know Wallander was playing second earlier, and he's now pitching. Got another pinch hitter in now. It's number 24. I think it's Adam Lorraine, the freshman, who wasn't even on our roster here early in the season. Got his first action on varsity last week. I believe that was on Tuesday, actually, against the same Shorecrest team. Ball 2-0. Strike zone is a little bit of a mystery right now, as that one was pretty good, and they called it a ball. So 2-0 is the count. Ball 3-0 to Lorraine. Lorraine, it looks like, is pinch hitting for Shavanko at this point. Fouls that one off.
Yeah, Steve, I was just going to say that one of the things that Adam brings to the team is quite a bit of speed, a lot of smarts, and then another left-hand bat, which I think could come into play, especially in postseason.
Well, that would be quite the chore for him if he does, in fact, get some action. He hits that one right to the shortstop. Dixon has it go right off of his glove. Actually, that's Sarver now, who started off the game in right field, is now playing shortstop. Sharp hit by Lorraine. Called that an E6, but it could have almost been a base hit. It was hit very sharply and was kind of curving back, too. Having said that, Sarver does have it hit right off of his glove. Freshman hitting to a freshman, and Lorraine ends up on first base. He is actually the winning run at this point, as it's a 9-0 game. If the Hawks can get a 10-run lead here, the game will come to an end. As Dominic DeMiro, number 3, steps to the plate for his 4th at-bat. Doubled in the first, flew out in the second, or popped out to first base, rather. And then in the 3rd inning, flew out to left field. Low ball 2-0. DeMiro could assist himself in a complete game shutout if he can drive in that run right there. So he's pitched all 5 innings thus far for the Hawks. 3-0 is the count to DeMiro. I've unofficially have Shorecrest down for 2 base hits right now. Ball 4, and DeMiro trots down towards first base. Pushes Lorraine over to second base, the winning run. See if Wallander's going to get pulled here as the manager's out to talk to him. Jesse Prothro about to come to the plate. Hawks can hold on to win this game. This will give them an 8-7 record overall in the conference. Haven't seen any scores yet from Meadowdale Shorewood today. I actually do not have in front of me who Glacier Peak is playing. I meant to look that up before the game, too. We'll see if we can maybe get an update on that as well. we're hoping it doesn't matter. As we mentioned earlier, the Hawks really control their own destiny. Those three teams, which are all in a three-way tie for second right now, Hawks do have the tiebreaker, having taken 2 out of 3 from both Meadowdale and Glacier Peak. Prothro hits that one very sharply towards third base. Fountain now over at third base. He was pitching last inning. Runs over and tags the base. Gets Lorraine out on a force. And on the play, Prothro ends up at first. DeMiro over at second base, representing the winning run. 2 outs. And Austin McDermott, who in his first at-bat of the year on Tuesday came up in a very similar situation, a 9-run lead. Just Hawks 1 run away from winning the game, and he hit a single that was a walk-off in a sense and ended the game. And I actually teased him right before the game here. I was getting some water at the water fountain right behind the booth here, and I walked by him and I said, "Are you going to hit another walk-off today?" And he just kind of laughed at it, and here he is. If he gets a single right now, it potentially could happen for the second straight home game. McDermott 1 for 2 on the year at the plate. First pitch is low and in the dirt. Ball 1, 1-0. Good news and bad news. Good news for a team like Mountlake Terrace when you get into a game like this. Everybody gets to play. The bad news is that guys like me who don't keep score really well, our score sheet starts to look very messy as I've got scribbles all over the place and different guys coming in to pinch hit and courtesy runners and everything else. And it's very confusing for me at this point. All I know is that we're up 9-0, so I guess it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. But again, it's always a good thing when these guys get a chance to play a lot. Ball 3, 3-0 is the count.
Yeah, just looked it up, and according to the WescoAthletics.com website, Glacier Peak is idle today, having played at Oak Harbor earlier in the week on that Wednesday. That's kind of an unusual schedule there.
Yeah, and I guess with 5-team divisions and you're trying to get 3-game series in, it's always going to be there's always going to be an odd team out, so to speak. Do they have 2 games left there, Vince? Do you know? Is that what I understand then for Glacier Peak? As McDermott draws the walk, Hawks are now 90 feet away from winning this ball game. So we mentioned this earlier in the broadcast. We'll mention it again. The Hawks with 2 games remaining on Monday and Tuesday. Monday, they play at home against Marysville Getchell. That's a 4 o'clock start. And on Tuesday, an away game against Everett. It's a 7 o'clock start at Everett Memorial. If the Hawks win both of those games, they finish the season as the number 2 team in West Coast South. Rainin, big bounce. However, on the play, the throwout is made, and we have to check our lineup here. Brady Dixon, who was at shortstop earlier, is now playing second base. Hold the Hawks from scoring there in the bottom of the 5th, which means we need to play a 6th inning. Hawks still leading 9-0. You are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network. And here we go into the 6th inning of play. Hawks continuing to lead this ball game 9-0. Speaking of continuing, Dominic DeMiro continuing on the mound right now. And he's given up 2 hits through 5 innings.
1 hit.
Oh, we got 1 hit. Okay.
1 hit.
The Ian McNabb play earlier, we're going to give that an error then. So the only hit that he's given up so far is the Brady Dixon double in the 2nd inning. So 1 hit through 5 innings. Last week, 0 hits through 4 innings. It's not a bad 9 innings right there.
Yeah.
This is Jake Oliver getting his first at bat of the game. Shows the bunt, then pulls the bat away. Ball 2, 2-1 to Oliver. Ball 3, 3-1.
Looks like we have a center field change. Lorraine, I think, is out there.
So Adam Lorraine playing center right now. It's ball 4 there, and Oliver makes his way over to first base. It's going to bring up number 2, Connor Block.
Then we got Nebel in left and Rainin in right.
Good eye there, by the way, TK. Is there a little ways out there? We've got
And then I think Raiden's out there on second.
Raiden Silva playing second base. Takaya over on third. Swung on and missed, and on the play, number 4, Oliver, heads on down to second base. Pass ball, 0-2 is the count to Block. As we mentioned earlier, Block is only a freshman. Struck out back in the 3rd inning. Ball gets away from Wyatt Allman one more time, and on this play, Oliver heads on down to third base. So Shorecrest now 90 feet away from their first run of this ball game. No outs yet here in the 6th inning. After Block, we go right back to the top of the lineup. Outside, ball 1, or ball 2 rather, 2-2 is the count to Connor Block. Hits that one right back to DeMiro. He has got Oliver in a pickle there, throws it over to third base. Is that Takaya? Yes, it is. He provides the tag. Oliver is out at third. Very heads-up play by DeMiro. And on the play, Connor Block, the fielder's choice, is going to end up over on first base. However, DeMiro preserves the shutout. Does a nice job of getting himself out of a bit of a hole there. And Diego Fountain, who was pitching there for a while and now is playing third base for Shorecrest, is looking at his first at-bat of the day as he is in now for Nick Hendricks. Diego looks at ball 1, 1-0. Fountain, a rather big fella. He's one of the larger guys out there on the field right now. Don't know what he can do with a bat here, but I'm sure he looks like the type of guy that if he gets a hold of one could put it a long, long way. Takes that pitch. Throw down to second base.
Oh.
And unfortunately, Silva not quite able to handle that when it bounced into him, and on the play, Block slides in safely. With a stolen base with 1 out here in the 6th inning. Merrill looks in, throws the pitch. Outside, ball 3, 3-0. Miro ready for the wind. Fires. Right down the middle. Strike 1. 3-1. Be curious to see if this is not, in fact, DeMiro's last inning here, if the Hawks are not able to come up with that 10-run lead in the bottom of the 6th inning. I thought he was going to be done after 5, but they've kept him in there so far.
Come on. Jeez.
Umpire does not give him the inside corner, and Fountain heads on down to first base on ball 4.
That was a strike a few throws ago.
It's been a strike the entire game, to be honest. There are a lot of games that I've watched this year where I would not have thought that was a strike. Today, however, the way he's been calling it, that's been pretty much a strike all day long, and Fountain nonetheless ends up on first base. Down low, inside. Nice stop by Allman to prevent that one from getting away, as Wallander is the batter. Mentioned earlier, Wallander started off the game as the second baseman. He's currently the pitcher. Did a nice job of keeping the Hawks from crossing home plate in the 6th inning, or the 5th inning rather. The only time today so far that the Hawks have not scored in the bottom half of an inning. 3 in the first, 2 in the second, 2 in the third, and 2 in the fourth. And that is where we stand right now with a 9-0 lead. 2-0 is the count to Wallander. One of the perks of calling the game right next to the pitcher's dad, you can get a little extra commentary there, and don't blame him on that one. Swung on and missed. Wallander, strike 1. Two 2-1 is the count. Starting to get a little bit cloudy here at Mountlake Terrace High School. I don't think it's anything we're going to have to worry about as we're getting this game in before the rains come. Ball goes right off of the glove of Phillips, who's playing shortstop now. Coming in to score his block, and there goes the shutout. 9-1, Hawks with the lead. As Wallander ends up on first base via the E6.
Hopefully Dominic will be able to keep some composure, finish out the game strong.
Yeah, first and second right now. Alex Mason, who's
Lorraine out there, proven that he can be useful.
still 2 outs here. Runners on at first and second. Strike is called. This is number 22, Reese Hansen. Hansen grounding out back up the middle to Dominic in the second inning rather. Hits that one off of his own head, foul ball. Grounded out to the pitcher in the second inning and then hit into a 4-6-3 double play in the 5th inning of play. Looking to get on base for the first time today. Quickly has 2 strikes on him, however. DeMiro 1 strike away from getting out of this inning. Swung on and missed, and Allman holds on to it. Strike 3. That is the end of the top of the 6th. However, Shorecrest making this game a bit more interesting. They get 3 runs in the top half of the inning. Hawks 9, Scots 3. You are watching the Sound Live Sports Network. Times. Strike 2 called. Again, we're back to that wide strike zone once again.
Wow.
It was a ball like 2 pitches ago.
Sure, why not?
Strike 3 called. Phillips caught looking. one away. And that will bring up Elliot Nebel for his fourth at bat. Nebel singling in the second, hit by a pitch in the third, and grounded out. Actually, fielder's choice. Got on base in the fourth inning. Unfortunately, hit the ball to the shortstop, who went to second for the force out. And Nebel takes strike one on that first pitch. Wallander with the wind. Fouls that one off. Strike two. 0-2 is the count. Wallander looking in for the sign. The wind and the pitch. Bounces to the plate. Gets away from McNabb. Ball one. 1-2. Clouds continue to get darker here. It shouldn't be a problem for this game. It's the nice thing about this artificial surface anyway. We can generally play in a little bit of rain here as long as it's not a downpour. Fortunately, no games scheduled for the weekend when a lot of the rains are supposed to come in. Cannot complain too much about the weather this week, though. It's been gorgeous lately. Nebel hits that one over to the shortstop. It's Sarver on the play, throws it over to first base.
He's safe.
Pulls the first baseman off the base just a little bit. Safe at first is Nebel hustling down the line. On base for the fourth time today. And that will bring up Nolan Takaya. One out, one on, sixth inning. Hawks by 6. Just joining us, Mountlake Terrace scoring the first 9 runs of the ball game, giving manager Andrew Waters a chance to get a lot of different players into this game, as we've seen a lot of substitutions taking place here in the last couple innings of play. Takaya coming into this game with only 19 at bats on the year, 2 for 19, looking for his third base hit.
Oh my!
Ball was thrown way outside, and the umpire calls that one a strike.
Now we figured it out now.
There are a lot of folks in the background there not happy with that call, including Vince DeMuro. Oh, 1 count, 6th inning. Wallander looks in, throws the pitch. Takai hits that one into center field. Right back there waiting for it is Block, makes the catch and throws it back in, 2 away. That will bring up number 14, Raiden Silva. Silva, who is playing second base, batting in Drew Sears' spot in the lineup. Silva looking to keep the inning alive here now. Neville getting a nice little lead over on first base. Wallander throwing it over there. Keep him honest and get him back to the bag. Silva waits the next pitch. Strike called. 0-1 is the count.
Looks like we got some sun coming out.
It's creeping through the clouds there a little bit right now. Ball gets away. It is called for a ball, 1-1. Gets past McNabb and very nicely bounces off the backstop right back to him. Which means that on the play, Nebel has to stay over at first base. McNabb hustling out to the mound to have a quick word with his pitcher, Wallander. Silva awaiting the 1-1 pitch. Swung on and fouled backwards. 1-2 is the count.
light's not on. Just got a text saying.
On the play, Nebel heading down to second, but Silva strikes out looking, and we've come to the end of the 6th inning. No runs for the Hawks here. Leave one on. We head to the final inning. The Hawks 9, the Scots 3. You are hopefully watching the Sound Live Sports Network. And here we are back to the 7th inning of play. The start of the 7th inning, Hawks with a 9-3 lead. Raiden Silva, the new pitcher in for the game for the Hawks, taking over for Dominic DeMiro, who went 6 innings today in his return to the mound. Looking good in the process. 2-0 count to the batter, Jason Sarver, the freshman. Sarver 0 for 2 on the day. And this time he's aboard. Ball 4, 4 straight pitches, 4 balls, and Sarver ends up over on first base. Immediately, Wyatt Allman going out to have a quick word with Silva. Now going to face number 16, Parker Reed. Vince, I'm going to have you come on here in a second and explain something to me here, too, because I know there's different rules in baseball. Reed, according to my records, was pinch hit for last inning, or last time up, and now he's back in the game. Is that possible?
Yeah, did he start the game?
He did start the game,
Yeah,
yes.
a starter can re-enter. Yep. And that's those are high school and rules pretty much up through before, until you get into professional baseball. The idea being to get kids in there as much as you can.
Is there a limit to how many guys you can do that with, or
No.
can you do that as many times as you'd like?
Starters. Yep.
Reed bunts the ball right back to Silva. He's thrown out at first base, and on the play, Sarver heads on down to second base.
Wow, that's a different sight. I've never seen Tice on third base.
That's a good point. Yeah, he's played there before, but not. I don't think
This year.
right?
Played there a little bit last year, yeah.
And then Dom's on first.
Got a very interesting lineup out there. Now, nobody's playing where they were at the beginning of the game, maybe other than Wyatt Allman, who's still behind the plate.
And then Jaden's on at second, back at his normal spot.
And he started the game on third, so a little bit of everything going on here. Phillips, who's over at short, started the game at second. If you can't follow all of that, don't feel bad. Neither can I. I'm sure we'll mess that up once or twice here in the 7th inning as the ball gets away from Allman. Wild pitch, and Sarver heads on down to third base on the play. This is Connor Block Up. Connor striking out in the third inning. Got on base in the sixth inning via fielder's choice. He's now looking at a 2-0 count here. Silva looking to get the final 2 outs of this game. As the Hawks look to go 8-7 in the conference. So they get that much closer to potentially taking down that second place spot in Wesco South, a position they really want to be in by the end of the season here on Tuesday, because that will guarantee them a home game in the first round of districts. Ball 3, 3-1 is the count. No, that's ball. No, that is ball 3. Okay. I got thrown off there as Connor Block apparently thought it was ball 4. He threw his bat to the side. Realized that he
Never know.
realized that he was not done batting yet, had to pick up his bat, and here he comes again. Chops that one right over the mound. It's it over to second base, thrown out. That's Yackley to DeMiro on the play. Sarver comes in to score on the sacrifice. 9-4. Shorecrest now with 4 straight runs. Might be too little too late as they're down to their final out of the game right now, and that's going to bring up Nick Hendricks. We just talked about the substitution rule a minute ago. Hendricks had Fountain come in and pitch hit for him last inning. Fountain actually got on a walk, and now Hendricks, who is 0 for 2 on the day, is looking to keep his team alive here right now. Silva looking to finish off this game. Strike 1, inside corner. 0-1 is the count.
There's a good start. 2 more.
Should mention we got a text from Marysville Pilchuck a few minutes ago. Strike 2, 1 strike away from ending this game. The Mountlake Terrace Hawks softball team saw their 6-game winning streak come to an end. A walk-off double in the 7th inning. And the Tomahawks defeating the Terrace Hawks 3-2 today. But again, the Mountlake Terrace Hawks ladies playing very well as of late. 6 straight wins leading into that game. And very convincing wins. Other than one close game against Marysville Getchell, they have been just destroying their opponents. And their season is far from over, and they've got a big week coming up next week. Hendricks hits that one high into center field. Camping underneath it is Lorraine. He makes the catch, and that is your ball game. Final score, Mountlake Terrace 9, Shorecrest 4. Hawks now 8-7 in conference on the year, 9-9 overall. And they are 2 wins away from clinching second place in the Wesco South. We're going to take a quick break right now. We are hopefully going to have an interview or two for you here to wrap things up. But once again, your final score, 9-4 Hawks. You are watching the Sound Live Sports Network. They're going to be right back here on Saturday. And a lot of players to talk about in this game. Just to look at the stats really briefly, the player that we've mentioned the most today, and deservingly so, is Dominic DeMuro, coming out, throwing 6 innings, coming off the injury, sore hand and all, to his pitching hand. And he threw 5 masterful innings through the first 5 innings of play, only giving up 1 hit. Got into a little bit of a bind in the 6th inning, caught a few bad breaks, and Shorecrest got a couple of runs off of him. But he had a great game today. Certainly Jaden Yackley scoring 2 runs. Drew Sears with a couple of base hits today. And it just goes on and on. Everybody getting on base.